Did you know Joan has a pet bunny?
I did. His name is Smokey. I wondered how you raise a rabbit.
Well, first you pick it up.
Ah, another bad pun. Let's just learn more about rabbits. Joining us today to answer students' questions is Washington State University exotics veterinarian Dr. Marcy Logston.
Exotics?
Yes, that's the veterinarian that specializes in smaller animals, other than dogs and cats.
All right, here we go.
Hi, my name is Charles, and my question is, why do rabbits have long ears?
Rabbits have really large ears because one of the reasons is that helps them funnel sound. And so the big ear helps catch a lot of sound and funnel it down to the ear where they're actually doing the hearing and the listening. The other thing that big ears do is it helps them thermoregulate. So if it's really hot out, they can divert a lot of extra blood to those vessels out in their ear, and they can help disperse heat that way, because rabbits can't really pant and rabbits don't sweat, and so they need some way to help get rid of heat on a hot day.
Hi, my name is Paulina. I am 9 years old, and my question is, do rabbits live together or are they solitary?
Whether or not rabbits live together is going to depend a little bit on species. So when we're talking about our domestic rabbits, they can be solitary. A lot of them will form kind of pair bonds or like have a buddy that they really like. And actually getting that pair to bond can sometimes be a little bit of a stressful event. Rabbits, it's not a guarantee that two rabbits are going to like each other. It's okay, I think, to have a solitary bunny as a pet as long as you're providing them with some form of enrichment and interaction. Like, they definitely don't want to just sit and be bored by themselves all the time, but they don't have to have another bunny to be happy. You can be their person, or you can be their buddy.
Hi, my name is Anthony. I'm 9 years old, and my question is, what is the differences between a male rabbit and a female rabbit?
So this is actually a really good question, and being able to tell a male rabbit from a female rabbit is really, really important, and it can be really hard when they're young. So when they get a little bit older, then things are a lot more obvious, but a lot of bunnies are given away when they're fairly young because they wean very quickly, and so a lot of times they're rehomed or sold when they're relatively young. And misidentifying the sex of a rabbit can be an interesting thing and can result in suddenly having lots of extra bunnies. And so what we're looking for when they're very young is the spacing down in the genital region. And there will usually be a little bit more of a space for male bunnies, a little bit less of a space for female, and then there's some other characteristics that you can look at to try and kind of help tell the two of them apart. Otherwise, as they start getting older, you will see, like, females will oftentimes develop a bit of a dewlap if they're getting ready to have babies, so a big kind of flap of skin underneath their chin. Both rabbits' size doesn't really seem to have much difference between males and females. Personality-wise, there are some people who will say that male rabbits are a little bit easier going than female rabbits, but that's not always 100%. I think, honestly, that amount of time that they're handled and how they're handled probably plays more of a role than whether they're a boy or girl.
I am Matilda. I am 9 years old. My question is, how do rabbits think? Because I think it's really interesting on how to know.
How do rabbits think? That's a really interesting thing, and something that I wish more people would think about with their pets. When it comes down to it, rabbits have a brain. They are still mammals. They are very similar, honestly, to us, but their place in the world is very, very different. And so they are primarily a prey species, and that affects how they look at absolutely everything. So things that might not be stressful to us or to our pet dogs or pet cats might be very stressful to a bunny. And so that's something to just keep in mind. Similarly, things that we think are relatively benign, like scooping up a bunny and picking it up, if the bunny's not used to that, that can be a very threatening thing, because obviously out in the wild, if something scoops them up, it's probably a predator. Like, bunnies are going around picking each other up just for the heck of it. And so that's kind of one of the biggest things to think about, is how does this look from the bunny's point of view?
Hello, my name is Robert, and my question is, why do rabbits jump?
Rabbits jump because it's a really good way to try and avoid predators and to move very quickly. So they've got very, very strong back legs that help them jump, and that can be a really good way to move very, very quickly. Although, if you've ever watched them do it, rabbits can actually walk when they're trying to sneak, and I'm not sure if you've ever seen that, but they will do like 1 foot at a time instead of the normal little hopping, and that's when they're trying to be very, very sneaky.
Hi, my name is Hannah Lay, and why do rabbits have short tails?
Why do rabbits have short tails? I think that part of the reason they have short tails is that they're not trying to use their tail for balance at all, so they don't need a big long tail for balance. And so that does help keep it out of the way. As you've noticed too, a lot of them have a light color on the bottom of their tail, and so that can be, again, very distracting if a predator is trying to grab them. If they grab the flashy little white thing, then they're not going to get a very good hold on the rest of the rabbit, and the rabbit can escape. And so I think that's probably the main reasons. Again, they're not really using it for balance, and they're using it to kind of flash around and show off.
Hi, my name is Natalia. I'm 9 years old. My question is, what is a rabbit's diet?
They're herbivores, so they eat plants. And so in captivity, that diet is going to consist of a lot of grass hay, some rabbit pellets, some veggies, and some leafy greens. Occasionally, you can do some things like a small amount of fruits just as a treat. Out in the wild, they are eating a lot of grass, but they're also eating a lot of forbs. And forbs are small plants. If you think about like clover, that kind of thing. So a lot of really high nutrient plants. This time of year, when there's snow on the ground, they'll eat bark. They'll eat old dry leaves. They're pretty adaptable.
Hi, my name is Brianna, and my question today is, what is the scientific name for a rabbit?
Scientific name is Oryctolagus caniculus, subspecies domesticus. And that's because the domestic rabbit is now slightly distinct from the European rabbit that it came from, but it's still the same species, it's just a different subspecies. And that's where the domesticus comes in at the end, because we domesticated them.
Hello, my name is Cassandra, and my question today is, what would you need to know to take care of a rabbit?
The big thing to know about taking care of a rabbit is, the biggest thing is probably their diet requirements. And so again, the fact that they need to have access to a lot of hay to wear down those teeth in the back. A lot of people want to provide like little sticks and things for them to chew on for those front teeth, and that's wonderful and that's great, but they also have to wear down those back teeth, and they don't do that by just chewing on things, they do that by actually eating and chewing on relatively rough things. The other thing to keep in mind is, of course, like temperature and where you're going to keep the bunny. So bunnies tend to do best in kind of moderate temperatures. They can handle a little bit of cold, but they can get into trouble if things get too hot. So making sure that they have shelter, adequate water, things like that.
That's all the time we have for this podcast.
And thank you for listening. We had so many questions about rabbits that we're producing another episode. Look for that soon.
If you want to learn more about science topics, be sure to subscribe to the Science Trek podcast. And for more information about rabbits, check out the Science Trek website. You'll find it at sciencetrek.org.
Bye!
Funding for Science Trek is provided by the Laura Moore Cunningham Foundation, the Idaho National Laboratory, and supporters like you. Thank you.